All right, so we're gonna try this again. The first time it didn't really work for us to get Mike in here with us. There we go. Gotcha! So we're gonna get Mike on live with us here.
Yo,
Hey, hey! How's
it's
it
good.
going?
Good. What about you?
Doing all right. Here, move up just a little bit. All I can see is from here up. There you go.
For sure. I'm gonna go in my car, so I'm gonna relocate real quick.
No worries. Take your time.
For
Good
sure.
to
How
see
are
you.
you though? Yeah, likewise.
I think this is the true definition of social distancing, right?
Definitely. Definitely. This is a
TM
good way
Valley.
to
That's
keep.
more than 6 feet.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's a good way to keep the content rolling though.
I
You know what I
agree.
mean?
I agree. I think the goal for today is really just to kind of update with you and see how you've been doing since we sat down in January. What's been new for you, and kind of maybe how this disruption in the world has changed your plan. And also
Right.
give people an opportunity to ask questions. There's a question: is that Pofsky? Yes, it is. The one and the only.
Sorry, I'm trying to get the little angle right here. I don't know where to
No,
put
you're
my
good.
phone.
You're perfect.
I got the little kids out here and stuff with me. It's a party, I guess.
No, you're good. You're good. Slide the
So,
screen a little bit to your right.
to my right. Okay.
There you go. Perfect. Perfect. We can see you now.
For sure. Here, I'll try to sit more in the middle.
Perfect. So
Um,
people want to know when your next show is. People want to know all kinds of things. Um, First, I want to ask you, how did you feel about your episode, about your interview when we aired it?
It was cool. I always like I'll be doing interviews and then I'll go back and watch them and not be like regretful on like how open I am, but just I'm always kind of like surprising myself like, oh shit, I really like to tell people a lot about me. But you know, it's cool and it's better that way. You know, it's always been easy for me to like express myself and things, so I look at it as a cool thing and I like that people can hear my story and I've gotten good feedback from it. So it's cool.
Absolutely. We've gotten quite a few good comments that have been messaged to me personally, and then some other ones that I think you saw on the actual episode themselves online.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
Yeah.
really. I'm sorry I missed the most recent show. I heard it was
Which
awesome.
Oh, the second underground one?
Yeah,
It's all good. Yeah, it was cool. It was obviously pretty affected because of the whole virus and stuff. Um, you know, it was like right before all the what do you call it? The quarantine was put into place and everything. So people were hesitant. Some people came out, some people didn't. You know, a lot of people bought tickets still. We sold like 100 tickets. So not bad for being so crazy in the world, you know?
exactly. Exactly. And I'm sure it was a nice little last hurrah to be able to get together with people before we weren't allowed to go within arm's reach of each other.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. And it was good for what do you call it, the content for underground, you know, so now Andrew has more stuff to post about and we just can kind of keep the momentum going as best as we can given the situation. So
Absolutely. He's so great. What you guys are doing is awesome for artists like yourself and people that need people to help mentor them and really look up to, the movement, if you will.
definitely, yeah, Andrew's awesome for doing that, and it's something that you know I never could have like foreseen happening. It just all came together, but off the strength of him and I connecting and him having his own interests, and it really just blossomed into this whole thing now. So
I think it's really neat. Well,
yeah.
I enjoyed sitting down with you, and I can't be more appreciative of the time that you took and the trust you put in me to put your story out there in a positive way, and I really liked it. So,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
yeah,
No, I appreciate you having me, and that was cool how we had like known each other from before and then linked up and did that, and I could bring Andrew. Like it just all was, you know, worked out well together and things. So yeah, I like that for sure.
no, I agree. It was funny how small of a world it is, right?
Yeah, definitely. Definitely, definitely.
Yeah, linking up in different ways. Um, Someone asked a couple things. They asked when your next show was, and when the next Underground magazine was coming out. If you know about that.
Yeah, so shows, you know, I was supposed to be in Austin, Texas and do South by Southwest. That got canceled. Everything's really just on hold. We were planning a summertime underground festival type of thing that we were thinking about, but obviously that's on hold for now. In terms of the next magazine, that probably won't be until sometime next year. I can't speak on it just because I don't really have any control of like how that's put together and things. It's all Andrew. Um, but yeah, for now we're just keeping that one rolling and kind of like pushing that as like the year rollout, if you will. So just trying to push all the artists, and we're gonna be doing like an Instagram live concert tomorrow actually for Underground.
That's
So
awesome. What time?
I think 9 tomorrow night. We're still
Okay.
putting the flyer together and stuff. I know it's a little last minute, but we're kind of just on the fly.
Yeah, but I mean, that's what it takes sometimes. I mean, really, honestly, where's anybody going tomorrow night at 9 o'clock other than maybe to bed?
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. So
So,
somebody asking a question. Do you know who
yeah, they
this
asked if
is?
you're working on new music during the shelter in place.
I've been working on so much music. I probably have done like 15 records since the quarantine has started. Just like singing stuff. Last night I did this crazy record. I've been working with some people. I know I probably shouldn't be around too many people, but I have had a couple sessions with some people, and I got the opportunity to work with these guys from Belgium. They were in LA right as the quarantine came into place, and I got a session with them. We got like 3 songs done, and they're really, really talented. They got a good following and stuff like that. So that's
That's
gonna be coming
awesome.
soon. And yeah, yeah, yeah.
How
We've
is
been
it
working a
rapping
lot.
through an N95 mask?
No, you gotta take the mask down for a sec. You know what I'm saying? But we being safe, of course, and everything. So
Well, I'm sure as long as you washed your hands and you weren't exchanging any bodily fluid with them, I think you'll be fine.
exactly,
So the
exactly.
other question from that person was, "What's your favorite? Who's your favorite hip hop artist, and who's your favorite group across genres?"
Favorite hip hop artist is Nas of all time. Um, and favorite group across all genres. Um, so that's a difficult one. Groups. There's a lot of legendary hip hop groups, like of course, like Wu Tang, and I can't even really think off the top of my head right now for some reason. You have like G Unit when they was together. I'm just a fan of more like cliques and like bigger like groups, if you will, like Rockefeller and like Dr. Dre and that whole group, and stuff like that. I don't know about like specific groups of artists, if you will. So
Then
I don't
now
know if
they're
that's
asking,
too
"What would
vague.
you do
So
if you ruled the world?" Let's just ignore.
I would do a lot. Shit. Right
um,
now, I'm glad I don't rule the world because now is not a good time to be the one in that position for real.
no, now is a tough time for everyone.
For
So,
real. I gotta turn my car
um,
on and get some air. I'm dying.
no worries. Yeah, it's a nice day out today.
It is. It's finally been hot again. I was like so bummed as all this quarantine was starting. Like depressing outside. That it just felt like the world was just ending, kind of.
Yeah, it
You know
reminded
what I
me of
mean?
all those when you read books when you were in school and all the pictures of like the Great Depression and everything when everything was all dark because it was all black and white photos.
Right.
That's what it reminded me of when
Yeah,
we first, like you
exactly.
said, started the quarantine.
It was weird. Like it really. I know the whole world feels crazy, obviously in general right now, but that just totally added to it. And at least now it's like a hot day. You can still like go out and go on a hike or whatever you want to do. Get a walk in or something.
Just gotta find the trails they haven't closed yet, right?
Right. Actually, in Simi, there's a good trail. I actually went hiking like 2 days in a row, and I got so sunburned. It was terrible.
Well, speak from my experience and my skin cancer scar right here. You definitely want to wear sunscreen.
For sure. I will. I will learn.
So, so I know I attached on one of the posts we put up from last week. I attached one of your songs.
Oh, cool.
I attached, I think it was an excerpt from Hoodie.
Uh huh. On
So,
one of the posts you said on the story or
mm-hmm.
something. Uh huh.
Yeah, on the story that I did to advertise I think our getting together or something that I had tagged you in, but
Uh huh.
I put your music on it. Tell me about that song. I really like it.
Thanks. I appreciate it. Do you really like it, or
I
you
really do
just gassing
like
me up?
it.
All right. I appreciate that.
I think you know me by now. I don't say things that I don't mean.
Yeah. No, that's for sure. That's for sure. Um, so what's the story behind the song? Um, well, kind of in simple terms, I really do just feel like in life, I just like being in a hoodie, like especially if I'm like a little faded, if I just smoked and I'm kind of like in my own world and I walk in, like let's say before the gym or something, like sometimes I like to smoke, maybe I won't, but if I do, I'll walk in, and sometimes if I'm faded, I don't like to be like feeling like there's eyes on me everywhere, you know? I just kind of like to be on my own time and like keep like eyes on the prize type of thing, you know what I mean? So I just like to feel like I'm in my own world, and sometimes having that hood up blocking my peripherals is it just helps me kind of stay in my own world. And plus, I just love to wear a hoodie in the gym and just sweat it out like crazy. Um, and beyond the actual like meaning of the song, the creating of the song, that was one of the, I don't know if it was one of the first, but one of the earlier ones I was doing with this engineer that I'm working with. And he just really kind of helps me like hit notes and sing and play with my voice. And so that song was one of the first ones I did that you could really, really hear me like pushing boundaries for my new sound, if you will. So that's why we thought it was a good single and felt it fit the tape and deserved a music video and stuff like that. So
Yeah, I do like it. There's a couple lyrics in there I really like, which like the one that I sampled. I will not attempt to sing. Thank you. So,
for
but
sure,
I
for
do.
sure.
I really do like it. I love I like the beat of it, and I like some of the lyrics.
Hmm.
But it's Nick. He's asking crazy questions.
Oh, is that Nick? I was like, who is
Yeah,
this? That's funny as hell.
he's out of control. But he did ask which episode of I Want to Know Your Story did you like best. I don't know if you've watched any of the other episodes or how many of them you watched, but
Yeah, I've peeped out a couple of them that you've posted since I've done mine. I would probably have to say my favorite one, if not mine, is Andrew's. You know what I'm saying? Just because I actually got to sit there and watch it in person and uh, and just learn a couple things about him that I didn't even know. So that was like cool for me on a personal level, you know?
I will never forget the look on your face when he said he wanted to be a rapper.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I was like, what? Like, I guess that makes sense why he's doing the magazine because he's like, you know, into it and all that. But yeah, that was cool to do that with him. And ever since we did that, like him and I have just been really on some partnership shit. And yeah, like we did an interview for the Acorn. I don't know if you saw that.
I didn't see it, but that's cool.
Yeah, so I mean, we just move around together and make a lot of moves together, and yeah, so that would probably be my favorite episode to answer that question.
I have to say it's one of my favorite ones too. I love all of them because everyone that I've had the opportunity to sit down with has enriched my life and touched my life in a different way and
Right.
has brought a different perspective to to my view of the world, right? And
Hmm.
every time I think of Andrews, I can't like this is every time I can't not laugh, I can't not smile, and every time I see him just in passing or out in public, I just it puts a smile on my face. Even if I don't go up and say hi, I just see him in passing. It just he just makes me I don't know. He's
Yeah,
so
no, for
funny to
sure.
me.
He's funny as hell to me as well. Like just the way, like when I call him on the phone, he's always just sounds so happy and so excited. Dude, what's up, bro? Like, what's going on?
Yes,
You know? it's
yes.
it's funny, but yeah, he's a great person to do business with, man. Like, just because he's really on top of his shit. Like, I can be personal with him. You know, it's just he's a really cool person to be linked up with, and I'm really glad that we've gotten closer over this time for real.
And how did you guys connect? I mean, I think you guys mentioned that you knew of each other in high school, but how did you
Hmm.
guys link up now?
Um, well, basically the initial like way that we got connected, I didn't really know of him, but I guess he had kind of heard of me and my music in high school, and right after high school, he reached out to me and asked if he could do an article for me. So I was like, yeah, cool, let's do it. And this was like a long time ago, but I've been, actively doing music since high school. Um, so he wrote an article about my first album called Dynamic, and that was really cool. And we kept connected. And then he had the opportunity for me to come to Boston University and do an interview at the radio station at the college. This was this time last year, and he was
Oh
about to
wow.
graduate. So I didn't have like that was the last time I could have the opportunity to do it. You know what I mean? To go up and see him. So I made sure I finished my album in time, and I set up a whole tour revolved around going out to the East Coast to see him, and I booked all this other stuff, and then so that was like a time where we got closer for sure because he saw like, oh my God, this guy just came across the country to come meet me, and do that. So we did that. We stayed close, and then basically once he got back, he just hit me with this idea about the magazine, and as the magazine started coming together, him and I got much closer, and and really started doing business. And now I'm like a partner. I don't know if I would say I'm a full like partner in the company, but I'm the event coordinator. If I give myself a title, I am one of the featured artists, which is super exciting because I just love to, one, have an impact on all the other artists that are involved, and two, helping grow the brand with him is something that I really enjoy, and it's another great like asset to me as a brand.
That's really great.
Yeah.
And I like I said, I think I mentioned this to you, but I know I've mentioned it to Andrew and I think to even to Junior,
Uh-huh.
just a few times. Just that being there that night in January at that event when everyone was performing and just seeing the community come together to support people, I never knew that those types of things went on and existed. It was really a cool vibe in there for a Friday night and being exhausted after a hard week at work, but it really was energizing. I was teasing with Nick. I was saying how, look at this. If I wasn't doing the show, if I hadn't met Pofsky at the event at Dave and Buster's, we would be at home with our cat. We wouldn't be sitting here amongst all these people just excited to listen to music and come together. And there were
Right.
so many different people. I mean, I met your mom and your stepdad there,
Mm-hmm.
and I know that the one that you guys did in March, a girl that I know was that one because her son was performing with you guys.
Uh-huh.
And so it's just like I said, just different connections. Even like you said, when you and I met in different paths and came back, to do this project, with the interview and everything. Just knowing that everyone's connected in some different way, it's kind of the whole point of the show, right?
Definitely. Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's why I rock with you for doing the show, because it's all about timing, and yeah, everything being connected and stuff, and that's cool that you could see and I could open your eyes to that, because that's not the first time that we've done something like that, and we're not the only people who do stuff like that. There's a big scene in Ventura and Oxnard, and there's people that I've met up with that have their whole own thing going on that have been doing stuff in the 805 for years. You know, um, it's very interesting, and since I've been doing it, I've always been connecting and working with people and meeting different people that do it in the city and stuff like that. But I've always taken pride in being someone who has thrown events and created that scene in a sense. Like back in 2015, I threw 3 shows, I believe, maybe like 2015, 2016, and we like booked out a little warehouse. I had a friend whose name was Nick Ponticelli, and he like basically taught me how to throw events. And this was back like right after high school, because he had booked me for an event right after we graduated, and him and I were pretty cool. And I was like, man, I need to get close with this guy and learn how to throw events, because he's making money, he's putting on shows. Like, this is what I want to do. So I learned how to do it, and we did those events back then. And then over the years, I had slowly done more, and learned more about it. So it's
Uh oh, you froze on me. Hopefully, we can get you back. There we go. Sorry, you froze for a second.
Oh shit, sorry.
That's okay. You're good now.
For sure. You can hear me now?
Yep, I can hear you now.
Cool, cool, cool.
So I have a question.
Cool.
What you were talking about,
Uh,
linking up with someone that did something that you aspired to do because they were able to do what they like, they were able to, create an income for themselves while doing it. What advice would you give someone um, that is up and coming like you were?
um, hmm. I mean, I definitely still consider myself up and coming, but I am probably a little further than some people. So I guess some advice I could give. I mean, is that just as an artist or with business, or advice of what?
both because I would assume, correct me if I'm wrong, but I would assume that they kind of go hand in hand. You can't make your career without having some of the business mind too, right?
Definitely. I would say first you need to identify where you are as a person and as an artist. You need to identify with yourself if the business side is something that you're stronger in, and if it is, then I would encourage you to pursue that more. Whereas if you are more on the artist side and you like creating more and you don't feel like you're good with the business stuff, X, Y, and Z, you still have to do some of it, but I would suggest you find people who are good with that type of stuff. You know what I mean? And somebody like myself, I have people around me who I wouldn't say they're not good with it, but I would say that maybe I am more organized and things like that, and I can just help everything go in the right direction. You know what I mean? And not everybody's so fortunate to just like meet people that can help them and all that type of stuff. But I would always say just go out and network and link with people and try to learn as much as you can from everything. But I think it's really important that you identify kind of where you are. Like, you know, I really identified for myself that the business thing is really important. So I put a lot of focus into that. And I'm, you know, right now learning a lot about Spotify and how to work the algorithm and also throwing the events with Andrew and like all this stuff that it's like so much beyond the actual creating of the music. But still, I'm in the studio and making records. So I find how my creative process works. I indulge in that as much as I can, but it's also about balance because if you're just, I know a lot of people who are really, really, really talented and they don't put out music or they don't have, you know, scheduled releases and they don't do things kind of the right way, quote unquote, and they could just be getting a lot more exposure. But, you know, it's all about your drive at the end of the day. It's really like anything else. Music is like if you want to make it happen, you can. And I'm somebody who's going through the same exact thing as anybody else. It's not like I'm that much further ahead. You know, I'm still working little numbers as well as some things get bigger numbers and better. You know, it's interesting, but you know, you can do your research. We're in an era where you can go on YouTube and watch videos, and you can go on Instagram and meet different people and Twitter and all this shit, and use the platforms to benefit you. So but I also like to always put out there that I'm always somebody people can reach out to. And if they need help with the business stuff, like if I had an artist reach out to me right now that I don't know necessarily, they'd say, hey, I seen your interview with Leslie, or hey, I saw your interview with College Cato, and da 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 da. I really think maybe you could help me, boom, boom, boom. They explain to me their situation, and I may be able to help them somehow, you know? So
Yeah.
that's something that I'm really focused on going forward as well is helping other artists and kind of being that business side to the artists that are just wanting to be artists.
I think
So
that's commendable. I think that's really nice.
thanks.
Um, there's someone asked a question, and I had another question, but someone asked, where do you see yourself, or where's your goal to be in 5 years?
In 5 years, so I'm 22 now, I'll be 23 in a couple months. Um, in 5 years, I would really like to be damn near close to that 30 under 30 list on Forbes. Like, I really feel that within 5 years, I could be doing a lot. I don't necessarily have like a specific 5 year, like I want to have this amount of money or this amount of like notoriety or something. Um, but I fully believe that within 5 years, I'll be fully living off of music, whether like that means me recording my own music or me like helping other people's music or putting together events or something like that, just living fully off of music. I think for sure within 5 years, I would assume within 5 years, I'll be able to be my own, you know, hopefully platinum, gold selling artist type of thing. Um, you know, living in a house that I can buy for myself, hopefully, like all that type of stuff, you know, buying cars, buying, and not just to be like balling out, but just because if you can, you know.
Right.
So that's my goal. Definitely like do like a world tour by then, type of thing. Like I'm sure within, hopefully, if this virus can chill, like if this virus didn't happen, I would have been already like hitting. My goal for this year was to hit 8 states because last year we did four, and I would have already been like going crazy because I went to Miami and then I would have been doing Austin and we were supposed to go to the East Coast. So it's a lot. That's kind of like a big question for such a big dreamer like myself, you know?
Yes, but you
Um,
have one thing I remember from January when we sat down, and it's obvious today, I think everything that you do, and I think you mentioned it in your interview, so if people want to watch that, it's on our YouTube channel. I want to know your story. But
Hmm.
the thing that I took away from it was how deliberate and strategic you are in your plan. And you have, even though you're saying that to think about 5 years from now is a big goal and a big thing to set forth for yourself, but I feel like all of your moves will lead up to that goal, whether it's 3 years from now or 5 years from now. I just
Exactly.
think you have the plan. And that was why I had asked you what advice you would give other people because, like you said, you're not. I, I feel like what I meant by, up and coming is people that are just now, putting their socks on and they're about to put their shoes on, if you will, and
Yeah, I get
trying
you.
to figure out. I
I
mean,
get
you're
you.
already off and running. So,
Right. Yeah, and I have a very solid team around me, and I always talk about it, and I always give the most props to my team. I have a great manager and somebody who helps me with a lot of the finances with things, Sean G-Ski. I have a producer who's a great friend, business partner, GM Beats, name's Gabe. Um, his girlfriend Hannah is always involved with everything. She's an actress. She's very successful in what she does, and she's always, helping us out and just being in the room and being involved with what we do. Um, my engineer, his name's Rula. He's from Russia. He's like in his 30s. He's like been doing it for like 10 years, like just great with the sound. I give all of my, thanks to him for helping discover this new singing that I'm doing. Um, I have my friend named Josh Seiden who does all my videos for the most part when I like will tour and a lot of my photos. Louise G who does my videos. A friend named Elijah who's an engineer, a good friend, and the list goes on. My friend Dio is a great artist. Steven, engineer. I mean, these are all like people that I really trust with a lot of different things, and they put a lot of faith into me. I put a lot of faith into them, and it keeps it circulating. So that is something that I absolutely recommend to anyone because, and not even just in music, but just whatever. Like build your team up around whatever you're trying to do, and just find people that you can really be tight with. And the only way that you're going to find that is by trying. And you're going to have to fail to try, and you're going to have to get fucked over, and you're going to have to go through shitty situations. Like I've been through so many different situations with people that I thought I was super super tight with. You know what I'm saying? And that's how you find the real ones. You got to sift through everything. And right now, I fully believe the people I'm working with, I'll work with for the rest of my life, type thing.
that's
So
awesome. I think that speaks to all relationships, right? Whether they're business
absolutely.
or personal. I saw something the other day, a quote, and I can't remember exactly how it said, but it was kind of one of those don't be afraid to let go of the toxic relationships in your life.
Yep.
Was the gist of it. And I think sometimes we do guide a little bit by fear, and we're afraid that if we let go of this piece, we're not going to get to where we wanted to go, or it's going to leave us empty in some sort of way. But I think knowing that there's, whether it's a business situation or a personal situation, knowing that if we make the right decision, there's a better thing at the next step.
Definitely.
So, well, tell us, everyone that's watching, where they can find your music, because that's
Yeah,
been asked like 3 times.
for sure. Yeah, I'm honestly not even looking at the questions, but I've seen a couple people have been tapping in, so that's cool.
Yeah,
Shout out to everybody
absolutely.
on the
We've had, like,
live.
I would say, 10 or so people come in and out. So,
Yeah, no, it's what's up. So yeah, my music is Pofsky, Pofsky, on all streaming services. Spotify right now is really important. Like if you have a Spotify, go follow me, go listen to my music. Please don't like skip any of the songs, like all the stuff that if you give my Spotify Get Energy right now, it's gonna soak it all up, and the algorithm is like really gonna show me love, especially because I'm gonna be dropping more music. Like that's the whole algorithm thing is super important. So Spotify specifically, if you have a Spotify, please, please, please follow me, show some love there. Everything is on Apple Music and all other services as well. We have a bunch of videos on YouTube. On Instagram, I'm under Trap Pofsky, TrapPofsky. Also Twitter. Uh, so yeah, just tap in with me. We always dropping a ton of stuff. If you've been tapped in with me, you know that we have content coming always, whether that's me or the underground brand or one of my friends or something like that. Probably every week something new coming. So stay
Well,
up
and
with
I
me.
follow you
Mhm.
on Spotify now that I learned how to do that. So
Sweet. Thank you.
again,
Thank you.
I still couldn't figure out how to do the other thing,
Oh yeah, the
like
pre-save.
to advanced download or whatever it was.
Yeah, yeah, it's all
It
good.
all worked out.
And some people was having an issue with it too. I don't really do that too much. I'm just really trying to get my Spotify up right now. So
Cool. Well, definitely share any links. Tag us in anything. I'll repost. I'm happy to do it. I think your like I said, I think your music's great. Even I went
thanks.
back after we first filmed, and I played a bunch of your older music for Nick too, and then we were just kind of jamming out upstairs in our house one day. So
That's what's
yeah,
up. I
yeah,
appreciate
no,
that.
definitely liked it. Tell me what's the next single to drop,
Well, we just did that quarantine and chill little SoundCloud record.
and that
Um,
came out today.
no, no, that came out like last week or something. That was kind of just like a like throw it out here, like just have fun with it. It's nothing serious, you know.
So give
Um,
us a couple of the lyrics from it.
um, lyrics. What do
I
I
haven't
say?
listened to it yet. I'm gonna go listen to it after this, but
All right, I'll break down some of it for you. So I say, so in the beginning, there's a song I did on my first album or my second album called Rhythmic, and it's called Thing Called Us. And I say, baby, will you be my Valentine? You a cutie like a clementine. You got that sweet and sour lemon lime. Told her that I eat the cookie like a Madeline. So that's like that was from that. So I was kind of like I was paying like a homage to that song, and I started the song by saying, "Will you be my quarantine?" You know what I'm saying?
that's awesome.
And then I said, uh, "Will you be my quarantine?" Thinking about you that be all the time. I said, "I want you on top," and that's the bottom line. Just trying to get clever with my wordplay, you know. And I said something like, I just washed my hands, but I'm sanitized, and at the grocery store, I gotta stand in lines type shit. We just kind of making fun of like the whole situation, trying to make it funny for,
Trying to make light of it, trying to make everybody feel better.
Yeah, exactly. Have a little fun. So, and people like it, so we did that. But and we have a little video coming for that, so that's cool. But on like more serious note, some more music that's coming. I have a song coming out with a friend of mine named Young Saudi. He's one of the people I went to Miami with, and we have a cool cover art coming for people soon. That probably won't come out for about another month. I'm probably going to be not dropping for a little bit, just really keep pushing what we have out and plan my releases and try to pitch to playlists and get all of my like first day numbers just going crazy. And the only way to do that is to have like about a month before you upload stuff. So right now I'm in the process of like picking the next records that I want to come out and when I want them to come out and how I want to do the rollout. Obviously the whole virus situation is completely throwing everything off how I would normally be doing things. So we're just adapting, creating a new routine, and something that I heard somebody say is a true hustler will adapt to any situation and hustle it. So right now I'm just learning how to hustle the situation, create my routine, and go harder than I was before. You know,
Well, I'm so happy. I'm glad that you have found a way to channel your energy into still furthering your dreams and your business and your music. And please
thank you
keep sending me messages with the new drops, and I'll keep sharing.
for
And
sure.
I don't want you to have to sit in your car anymore today.
No, it's all good. I sit in my car a lot. I like to think in the car. I like to have a little smoke. You know what I'm saying? And get right in the car. The car is the place.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, I can't thank you for connecting with me today and sharing the update. And again, your feedback on how you felt about the interview means a lot to me. Um, the stories all mean a lot to me. I think earlier someone asked in the questions which person either one of us could identify with from the stories that you had maybe watched or that I had done.
Hmm.
And for me, I can identify with all of them. I mean, even your your story, like you talk about your parents' divorce. My parents, fought a lot when I was a kid, and my parents ended up finally splitting up for good when I was a senior in high school. and I moved 3,000 miles away from my mom, who is my best friend.
Right.
And I lived with my dad because I wanted to go to college in California. And I knew I couldn't afford it unless I moved out here and got residency. And
Right.
so I definitely felt like you mentioned the feeling of like being lied to when you talked. And I don't know if I ever felt like I was really lied to because my parents were very open with what was going on, but um, I felt you still feel some sort of discomfort, right? And everybody's got a discontent when there's turmoil at home.
Yeah,
And
definitely.
so I definitely could identify with that part of your story. And then, of course, with your ambition and your drive and your plan. If I didn't have a plan, I wouldn't be where I am. I'm almost, you said you're going to be 23 in a couple months, right?
Yeah.
I'll be 42 in May.
Okay.
And I feel like if I didn't think things through in a similar way that you do and line out what it is that my goals and next steps are or were, I wouldn't be where I am either. So
Right.
thanks.
Yeah, of course. Thank you. I always love the energy and everything, man. For real. I'm always happy to get on a live with you or do another interview or just keep the content rolling for real.
Always. Absolutely always. Well, thank you again. And thanks to everybody who tuned in. Check out the channel. I Want to Know Your Story on YouTube. Follow us on Instagram at I Want to Know Your Story. Follow Pofsky, Trap Pofsky on Instagram, Twitter. I think you said Facebook too. But most importantly, get on his Spotify. Download his music.
Yes. Yes,
Thanks
yes,
so much
yes.
for being here.
Thank you, Leslie. I'll see you
No
later.
worries. Have a good one.
All right, you too. Peace.